Hey there! Welcome back to the Metro Icon Podcast with me, your host, Shawn Kay the Showman, and here with Mojo, pushing off the desk and trying to make this way more difficult than it has to be. Okay, thank you, buddy. I am prepping and getting ready to head out to California to celebrate my first cousin's wedding, but also be hosting and organizing and coordinating and facilitating the celebrations ahead. So, Mojo, you gonna miss me the next 4 days? You gonna miss me? Yeah, he's gonna miss his daddy. I'm gonna miss him too. But we got a very fun episode ahead of us. But of course, make sure you guys are pushing that subscribe button, y'all. Push that subscribe button right there to diamediapro on YouTube so you guys know exactly when these new episodes are going to be coming in. And of course, make sure you guys are following me on my platforms. You can go to my website, www.theshowman.live. Or go to my Instagram at Shawn Kay Do It All, or look up Shawn Kay the Showman and find updates and announcements of upcoming shows where you can catch me out throughout the week. For example, like last night, wild time at Library Bar where I host bingo karaoke from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then starting next Wednesday, so a week from today when this episode is coming out, you can catch me now at Scout. Not on Thursdays, but now on Wednesdays from 7 to 11 p.m. hosting bingo karaoke. And of course, you guys, if you don't know what it is, bingo numbers are called with every karaoke performance that comes to sing up on stage. People playing bingo for free have the chance to win gift cards to the organization, to the establishment, just by playing bingo for free. So make sure you guys come check it out. But I'm working on some comedy shows as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned and look out for what's going to be popping on. Speaking of comedy shows, the guy that I have on my show today, Teddy C, is a guy who produces many comedy shows and has been coming up in the game. There we go. That's better, Mojo. So have a very fun conversation and get the chance to talk to him, get to know him better. Another brown man in the comedy game. You know I love that. So go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, turn your speakers up. Here is my Metro Icon episode with the one and only Teddy C.
This stuff is really fresh.
You could do it all.
You can't.
Do it all, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Metro Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Kay the Showman of Doitall Entertainment and DIA Media. And you know what we do on this show. We talk about the world of entertainment and media and the icons that live in it. And this guy is an icon when it comes to representing the Indian Standard Time. He is also a DFW comedian that is taking the waves and the scenes. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome the homie, Teddy C, everybody.
Thank you. Wow,
That's what it sounds like, Teddy.
that's amazing. That's like
But you know how it is, man. You've been doing all these black comedy shows and shit now. So-
why you gotta call me out like that?
because honestly, you live in the dream. You live in the dream that every Indian comedian wants to do, and they want to be put in front of that black audience to be able to shoot that comedy.
Well,
So
surprise, Sean. I'm not Indian. Dun dun dun.
that's what it really is. Are you Pakistani?
No, I'm not.
Bengali? Nepali?
Yes, Bengali, bro. I'm from Bangladesh.
Fucking bullshit.
Where's the right sound effect for that?
Because it's still this motherfucker in the mainland. This man is in mainland India, and he's one of the pieces of shit who don't fucking recognize that he's actually a part of the game. All right,
Oh, come on.
it's ridiculous.
We did our part, man. Listen. I say if you're gonna be back, like the coolest thing about Bangladesh, right, is we whoop some asses to become a country. Like we fucked up some people to get our independence.
Is
so
that
I'm
is
proud.
that? See, you know what? Maybe this is where my ignorance lies because I don't. I was like, because I think I've lived my entire life looking at every Bengali people, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not Indian. I'm from Bangladesh." I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is your problem. You know what I mean? Like that's been kind of my issue. You
Well,
know?
the story is, so we used to be part of Pakistan, right?
Oh, shit.
And then, all right, this is gonna get dark. Things are gonna get dark. There was a whole, there was a whole like genocide that was happening with like East and West Pakistan, and then that eventually led to like a civil war.
Damn.
And it's a lot of history. We don't have to get into it right now, but that's kind of how Bangladesh came to be. We fought for our independence.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm from Kerala, and Kerala's not that far from Bangladesh. So it's like the whole story of like how our people came to be
Yeah.
were like 72 families. I totally went Indian Tourette's on that one. 72. 72, you know. But 72 families came from Syria, and then
Yeah.
they just followed the coastline until they literally ended to like the bottom land, and that's how Kerala brewed its Malayalis and stuff. But it is always interesting because it's like people don't really understand the diversity that actually is in India is like just as spread as like Africa, you know. And then you find them whites that are shocked to know that there's no language called Indian.
Dude, I was just gonna say there's so much drama in India just amongst like Bollywood, and then like I didn't even know this, but apparently Bollywood is like the thief of like other cultures in India itself, and so they'll kind of steal like shit from like places like I've heard there's like this beef between like Telugu, and I might be off, but is that
You're
true?
probably not.
No, is
because
that
there's
true?
beef everywhere,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Because I mean, like, what is true amongst, I guess my people,
Yeah.
right? But like, just Indians and just that general region,
Right.
Everybody pretty much has beef with everybody. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I've
Like
heard,
our
dude.
our people naturally have beef with our own people.
Yes.
It's kind of how it is. And then we're trying to like get the other cultures outside of our own people to like us.
Exactly.
That's literally how the game has always been
Yeah.
throughout history, you know? Like even to the point where like I mean, I think India is probably the only country invaded by Britain.
Yeah.
And then when Britain left, they're like, no, we're coming with you. You know, like
the pick me. They were
Yeah.
such a pick me,
yeah,
man.
right. Well, Teddy C, I appreciate you coming through. Even though you said 12 minutes, 18 minutes.
All right, I have
after-
an answer. I have a problem. I have a reason.
You have a
guys.
problem.
I had a problem. I need gas, so I stopped. You know that shit where you always think I'm gonna get gas the next day. That did not work out well for
Oh,
me today.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's give it props to the first Bangladeshi guy without a Tesla. I think that's what's beautiful. And the funny thing is that we'd established that you also live in Frisco.
Yeah, but really far away. I thought I would be way closer. I'm closer. You know where the HEB is?
Oh, on Main Street?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that far,
It's like
dude.
15-minute drive.
Bruh,
It's a 15-minute drive.
Bro, El Dorado, Main Street.
It was distance, guys.
Come on, dude.
It was
whatever.
distance to-
the distance because of the gas that you had to stop for. Whichever case, I'm glad that you made it, and we're gonna get right into it because you are a stand-up comedian. How long you been doing comedy, man?
It's been 15 months.
15 months, so a
Yeah.
little over a year. Congratulations on the anniversary.
you, dude.
And I think
Appreciate
it's going strong for you, to
It's
be
going
honest.
well. It's going fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we met, I think, then, well, actually, I wouldn't say. I probably maybe like 6-7 months into the game, I think, when we met.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, I've been seeing you just on shows, and you've been on it about posting. And so it's dope. I honestly really can genuinely say I enjoy watching the growth and climb of any comedian. But when I see it from, formerly recognized as another Indian comedian, but like,
Sorry.
When I do see the growth of a real one, like a good dude or a person in the comedy game, and good things are happening to them, like honestly, for me, it's a really genuine like excitement for them, you know, because comedy's not an easy game to kind of go. So here's the real question: what is the day to day? What do you do to really bring the bacon in for the home?
Okay. In terms of comedy, though, right? Not like my day job.
Well, no, I was saying your
yeah.
day job.
Oh, okay.
What is your day job?
Oh, I'm a software engineer.
Oh, because I've never met it.
You're
in the
so
Brown game.
shocking.
Never met him. Yeah. So you've been, and how old are you?
I just turned 29 last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Young as fuck.
Is that young as fuck?
I mean, bro, you haven't hit 30 yet, man.
I'm like 1 year away.
But when I tell you, when you hit 30, bro, nothing's gonna feel better. It's going.
Yeah.
Usually people towards that latter half, they're like, oh, oh, I'm gonna be turning 30. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Dude, it felt so good when I turned 30.
I think I'll turn 30 pretty gracefully because I'm already married, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I accomplished what I need to accomplish to be like, oh, I can't believe I'm 30. I haven't put my life together yet. And so I think I'll be graceful with it.
But yeah, you have your life together. What do you mean?
I know. I said.
Oh.
I'm saying, like, you know how some people will be like, "Oh my God, I'm turning 30 like tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I'm still living with my parents."
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
like, yeah. So I'm not in that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you found your role of independence, but I mean, you're in the midst of starting your life, your family,
yeah.
you know, everything that you've been,
Yeah.
you know, our families are really praying for every Indian or Bangladeshi child or any of the, you know, that region, the parents, the expectations, they want their kids just to breathe their family life and,
Oh my God,
and get their sense of independence. So you're making it work, making it happen, and you got the good 9 to 5 or 8 to 7, whatever your fucking hours are.
It's 9 to 5. I think
You work
Yeah,
from
yeah.
home?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I mean that's pretty solid. And then your wife. So are you Muslim?
Yeah.
Oh, so Bangladeshi Muslim.
Bangladeshi Muslim.
I'm just kidding. And it's funny because it's like I didn't know any of these things about you, but then I always have a glass of my Evan Williams honey bourbon, you know, on every episode, in hopes that one of these days anybody from that organization is gonna see
Come on, guys.
sponsor
Come on,
this
guys.
sponsor this ball motherfucker, and I'm gonna become the Jake for State Farm for Evan Williams
Right.
honey bourbon. But I was like, I don't think I've ever seen you drink out and about.
I don't drink.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm coming to that. I mean, I have a lot of different vices, you know, and I like to enjoy myself and maintain my own peace. But I just enjoy a glass, and it's just kind of like, man, I know that eventually though I should just let it go because I'm like, I see a lot of people who don't drink, and I'm just like, I feel like they just have more money in general.
That's true.
I think, you know what I mean? And
Drinks are expensive, dude.
they're just getting more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And obviously like I don't socially go out to bars and clubs,
Yeah.
you know? And my scene or my presence in the scene is literally working. And so whenever I'm there, you know, I have a bar tab and stuff. So I'm like not paying for my drinks or anything like that. But that being said, it's, you know, I still and, you know, have my genuine cocktails, or me and my girl go out.
Right.
She Mexican, so she definitely loved to drink. You
Oh
know what I
my.
mean?
Yep.
And so
Runs up the tab. huh?
yeah, dude. So I mean, but you know, she's trying to get me into this whole detox thing,
Okay.
and she's like, you know, no sugar, no fast food,
That sounds like a lot of savings.
no alcohol, and I'm like, no smoking. I'm like, but weed don't count. And she's like, okay, fine. I'm like, yes. You know, so. Have you ever done any? So you've never drank in your entire life?
I mean, okay. To be honest, I have tried it in the past, just to kind of taste what it's like. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a big fan. I'm pretty sure I tried like a Heineken or something. It wasn't even cold. It was terrible.
Oh yeah. See, I mean, okay,
It
so
was terrible.
Yeah, you had a rough start to it. I will say though, this is like not. It's not strong.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a burn at all. Because it's a honey bourbon, so it literally tastes like an old fashioned in a glass, but it's a little bit more sweet, but it's very, very smooth, and it's a pretty cheap bottle. So I mean, I'm just saying it's a very cost efficient thing. I've definitely put a lot of comedy guests on to the drink though, but not this one right here.
All right, make me a non-alcoholic version, I guess. We'll try.
I guess I'm gonna make some tea and put some honey in it. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do right here.
That came out of left field, right?
Actually, I might have some chai. I might have some chai I can brew up for you. Have you done any other vices? By the way, I'm clipping all this so I can send to your parents. But go on.
Oh yeah. Send it to them. No, I've tried things. I've tried weed before.
Okay.
A couple times. I think back in high school.
In high school.
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit.
Let's see. I had weed brownie once. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, that's
that
intense.
I was not expecting because I was just hungry.
Yeah,
And I just
yeah.
like took a small piece, and
Yeah.
I was just hungry. I had no intention of getting high.
Did you know that it was in there?
I knew, but I guess I just underestimated. I'm like, oh, it's just a small, it's just a
Yeah,
tiny
that's
piece.
usually how it
Just
is.
a tiny piece.
That's
And
usually how it
it
is.
was not a tiny high. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, no. But no, as of late, last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, I have not done any of that at all. which is interesting because I'm kind of raw dogging comedy, like no alcohol, no weed, just raw dogging it out here, man.
But I mean, surprisingly enough, though, there is I feel like it's becoming like a movement, like this, like becoming sober and being sober or living sober. Like it's becoming this like grand movement now. There's more and more people that are kind of getting into it. That might be the reason why the prices of alcohol in these bars are going up and shit. You know what I mean? They're just trying to, protect that bottom line. But whichever case, I mean, more power to you, more props to it. Because I mean, I just feel like that, most people like they build that mental dependency, and then that apparently just becomes a way of life or part of life. But too much of anything, I think, is just never a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's cool that the stigma is changing because I used to feel I definitely used to see like if you weren't drinking and everyone else was drinking at a bar or something, they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" This guy's kind of like you kind of be shunned.
So I remember in college I did an experiment for like a PR class, and we had to do like a 30-day type of thing and do analysis. So I did no drinking for 30 days while in college. And then I think it was after about a week or two, and it wasn't definitely not easy in the beginning. But then I discovered that like all I needed to do was order like a club soda or just tonic water, and then be like, hey, can you just pop a lime in it? And then you have walking around with that, it's like no questions asked.
I might steal that.
I
might steal that.
Yeah, and so that way there's like very, very limited. We're like, dude, you're not drinking or whatever. Or or if they ask, they'd be like, man, just something to sip on. Just like you kind of just throw it away and then just move on. Yeah. And usually people either don't ask or they just don't really care.
Well, nowadays, because I'm around bars a lot at comedy clubs, nobody asks at all. Like they don't. I feel like it's completely changed, like you talked about. Yeah.
So coming into the comedy game, and things are going well. I mean, is there like an aspiration that maybe one day you can make this a full-time?
Oh hell
grind? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone like my dream with comedy. I didn't really know it when I first started, but I think my dream is to make enough to go on the road with me and my wife, tour, and be able to just sustain ourselves with comedy, whatever that like. I don't need to be on the Tonight Show or anything. Like I don't need a Netflix special.
Would be nice though.
It would be nice, sure. But I think my like realistic goal is to just get good at comedy and be able to tour and try. Because me and my wife, we love traveling so much.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. Like if I get to that place where I can go like quit my job, do comedy full time. We can go travel across America, maybe even internationally, doing comedy shows. That would be the dream.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think I can definitely agree that would definitely, I could see that being as a very, very good lifestyle, and would love to do that for me and my fiance. But we have more obligations, we have
Don't talk about the dog like that,
man. We have our responsibilities, but it's a beautiful lifestyle though, because they know how to hold it down, at home without, and they're very self-sufficient. How long you been married?
We're about to hit 3 years next month.
And then how'd you guys meet? Was it arranged or did you guys meet on your own?
Everyone always asks, is it arranged?
You have to ask the brown man though.
It was not arranged.
Okay, all right, that's good.
We met in college, actually.
Oh, beautiful.
So we were both going to St. John's University in New York City. She was doing pharmacy. I was doing software engineering. And so that's how we kind of met. We were friends for a long time. And then we kind of like pursued each other. And that's kind of, we've been together now like 10 years.
Oh, beautiful.
But married 3 because like COVID and we met in like freshman year of college.
Okay, for sure.
So it's been a journey together.
Yeah, and so she's now full-time pharmacist as well.
Yes, she has a remote pharmacy job, which is cool. She's
shit.
Yeah, she's like on the insurance side of things.
So that's what's up.
She doesn't have to deal with the weirdos at CVS anymore.
Yeah, and no kids yet?
No kids.
And you talked about like traveling, what I mean, like where you would the ideal lifestyle is for you to be able to build your career where you're able to like go on tours and travel and build that lifestyle. I mean, it would be harder for you to do that with a kid on hand. So
this is a great condom commercial.
or just like the greatest level to disappoint every Indian parent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, is there plans for that? I guess that's my question, and because I'm sure that maybe you're getting pressure from your parents or her parents to maybe have that. Because I mean, both of you guys are doing well for yourselves.
Yeah.
So.
Surprisingly, there's been no pressure.
Really?
I know, dude.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
That's amazing.
Neither of our parents have even brought it up once to us yet.
That is a phenomenon.
That's phenomenal. I think maybe it's because like it has to do with us being in our 20s still. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't. We're late. We're both late 20s now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. No one has actually been like, it's time. Like
That's,
no one's told
that's
us
so
that.
crazy because I mean I do Indian weddings. That's like
Yeah.
my main source of income. People include it in their damn speech at the wedding. You know what I mean? So it's like it's shocking that like you guys have been married for 3 years. You've known each other for as long as you have. The fact that it never gets brought up is unbelievable. So
No.
props to both y'all's families.
Yeah.
Actually, that is a very, very strong. It shows a lot of progressiveness. I think.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm surprised. Like I know my parents well enough.
Well, unless they don't want you to breed. That could be.
Maybe they just saw us and they're like,
We're good.
They both got IBS problems. It's not gonna. The kid's not gonna turn out well. He got asthma. We got a lot of things wrong with.
Oh
this.
shit! Wait, both y'all bringing this shit?
I got asthma.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure both of us got some sort of gastrinal IBS problems.
Damn.
As most brown people do. It's a very common thing.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
our community. What else? Yeah, I feel like honestly, my genes scare me sometimes because asthma and allergies for me are crazy.
No shit.
Dude, I'm severely allergic to like everything on the planet.
That sucks.
It does, dude.
That
It
sucks.
does. Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever. Do you like before you go up on stage? Does like your asthma kick up at all? Like,
No, it'll come up. It's annoying, but it'll come up a lot during like certain times of the year. So like during winter time when
Yeah.
it's like dry outside. Dude, that's when I'm like wheezing every morning when I'm waking up and
Damn.
stuff. So that it kind of sucks there. Spring allergies destroy me here though.
damn.
Yeah.
And then when did you move? Did you like right after college? Did you move here to DFW or
No, I moved in January of 2023 with me and the wife.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're fresh. All
pretty,
right.
pretty new.
Yeah. And then like where were you born and raised? Was it in New York?
Yeah, New York, Queens.
Oh shit. Okay, so you were like right literally downtown New York in a sense. That's got to be like a fair dynamic. Do you miss New York? I mean, because it's totally different lifestyle. It's much more slowed down over here in DFW. So
Certain aspects I miss. Like, dude, there's nowhere better for food than New York City, and like DFW's got a long way to go to catch up there, right?
yeah,
Like,
and I would attest just because Chicago is a big food capital, but I feel like a lot of DFW cuisine they're actually attributing and garnering it from Chicago more than anywhere. But New York definitely does have a very unique style in cuisines, and it's like, bro, you can like walk through an alley, and then there's like you just see the small door, and then that happens to be like a 12-seater restaurant with like a
Michelin star.
Yeah, right, and it's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, man, my brother-in-law is from New York.
Yeah.
But he's more of a Long Island boy. But him and his twin brother, who both now live here in DFW, they were like, one was Upper East Side, one was Upper West Side. And like, being from Chicago, I was like, it's a great place to visit. I could never live there.
Oh, that's the same thing I tell everyone now.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing when like you're born and raised there, right? You've kind of gotten tired of the buildings and the glamour of New York City. Like me and my wife, we're both New York born residents, so we've been there forever. And I don't know, we just kind of looked at each other like, what's the future here? Like, we got married, we did the apartment thing for like a year. It wasn't that great because like
because you're living in a closet for $3,000 a month,
dude. So we had a good, decent apartment. Like it was in a great neighborhood, like near Astoria, maybe 10 minutes away from Manhattan. The price was great. It was like a cheap apartment, but like you just don't get the luxuries you're used to here. We didn't have a fucking dishwasher, dude.
Dishwasher.
We didn't have you understand how like for brown folks we cook so much at home, to not have a dishwasher is batshit. We didn't have an elevator in the unit. It was like a second floor walk up. We didn't have a laundry machine.
Damn.
Bro, it was just terrible, right? In terms of like living comforts,
your personal
and
amenities.
luxuries.
Right. And it, like it's such a greater comfort, man. Like I remember, I think there was one time I did a community laundry when I was like living in college and shit.
It sucked, right?
And I was like, oh, I'm about to just do laundry every 2 weeks when I go home. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's fucking annoying.
It's expensive too,
Yeah,
dude. Me, just recently, like a couple months ago, we, cause we have a washing machine and dryer in unit now.
Yeah.
But it's like a small one, and we had like a bunch of big like blankets to wash. So we did that. We went to the laundromat.
It's like one blanket per like load.
Dude, it was so expensive. I
Yeah.
think we spent like $40 to wash our
What?
blankets. Yes, dude. It's expensive to do those community laundry things.
That's fucking ridiculous. Dude.
Yes.
Fuck that
They
shit.
rip you off on that shit, man.
No way. No, it's
Yeah.
not for me. But I mean, so life has been pretty then at ease. I mean, there's probably you guys are gonna be kind of keeping your future in your home here around DFW.
I think so, dude. We
Okay.
really enjoy it here. There's a great Muslim community here,
Yeah.
which is the reason why we moved. Interestingly, like we moved because we saw this amazing community. It's been growing. DFW in general, of course, everyone knows this has been growing and
Yeah.
growing and growing. It's
Yeah.
just getting bigger and bigger. And then it's interesting. Like I started doing comedy here just to kind of pass the time in the beginning because I was in a new city.
Was that always part of the plan? Like,
No.
yeah, because that's always an interesting outlook, right? Because it's like you meet few comedians where it's kind of like they knew when they were a little kid, like, oh, I would love to do it. And then you meet a few comedians where it's kind of like the idea of it kind of just springs on them later in life where they're just like, yeah, let me give this a shot.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of maybe in your wavelength.
I would say it's more of that, because like I knew I was like funny, but like there's a difference between being funny in like day-to-day conversations,
Yeah, right. Conversational funny.
and being funny on a
on
stage,
stage, a solo,
with
no
people
support,
watching
right.
you,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the expectation
Yeah.
is so high, right? So I came into Dallas in January. I was looking for something to do, make some friends. So I took like a stand-up class at DCC.
Okay.
And that kind of just kick-started the whole thing. Like I was in class with CJ Starr was my teacher.
Oh shit. Okay.
Shout out CJ Starr.
Shout out CJ Starr.
It's like one of my comedy mentors out there. And yeah, I was just like in the class and like, you ever like take, like, this is how I felt. Like I was in school again, but I like the lessons as they were being said, I was just understanding them like right away. Like everything was just made sense.
It just clicked, yeah.
It just clicked.
Yeah. I felt the same way because I mentioned way too many times. So I won't talk about it too much, but my comedy started with doing improv.
Oh,
at-
yeah?
at Second City.
Okay.
So I started with that and was there for a whole year. Did a bunch of things, and my comedy journey only started end of 2021. So like stand up though, I was always kind of in the back of my mind because I've been performing since I was 18 professionally, like making money performing since I was 18 years old. So assuming for you that like doing stand up was your first position on stage, your first presence on stage, like doing a live stage performance,
Yeah.
like what was that feeling like you first time going up like for a real show and performing?
So I should kind of explain a little bit of backstory. In New York City in 2021, I had a friend who was doing stand-up comedy already.
Okay.
So that friend kind of convinced me to do a small like 5-minute set at one of their shows. So I did get to experience that before I got to like doing comedy full time here
Okay.
or like part time here. So that first experience was like I had no open mic experience.
Okay.
Never wrote a joke for stage before. So I went up with 5 minutes of like material that I'd written out, like vetted to the wife, and that's it, right? Like no practice on stage, nothing. And it went okay. Like I would give it like a 6 out of 10 experience.
That's not bad though.
Some people like there was moments where like there was good laughs, and there were moments where like it didn't work, right? Like the joke fell flat or whatever. But I do remember just feeling super nervous because I had like maybe 3 or 4 friends come out, feeling super nervous before I went up. As I got on stage, it felt like that 5 minutes felt like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it just breezed, like zoomed by, man.
And it's one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like either A, it's kind of like, oh shit, that was 5 minutes, you know? Or you have the people that are like literally the second they get up, they're like, when the fuck is this done? You know what I mean?
my
Like,
God. Because those people will write like 2 jokes.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, this 2 jokes, there's gonna be such a big laugh after I say some of these punchlines. I'm gonna have to just like this. That's my whole set.
Yeah.
I over prepared. Like I wrote like more material than I even got time for.
Yeah. I did
So
the same.
it went okay, but like now, like if I watched myself, like I have that set recorded.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So I watched it like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this shit is terrible. This shit is terrible. The whole time you could tell all the nervousness because I'm overcompensating like lack of laughs with like cursing. So I'll be like, fuck every other sentence in the joke.
Sure.
There was no strong beginning and strong end. It was just like kind of like a roller coaster throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
and it's funny because like during my improv stint, I did that first. I actually did stand up in Chicago, and I did like 5 or 6 open mics. But when I did those, I went in with zero material prepared to intentionally bomb.
Oh, okay.
Because as an experienced performer and through the history of understanding what stand-up comedy is, like I understood that a good comedian really understands the feeling of bombing and it's being able to confidently overturn or just kind of push forward, right? Yeah. And so I wanted to see what my brain can cook, like with nothing prepared and kind of go into it like almost feeble-minded, and then wanted to feel the feeling of bombing.
Oh my God.
Like I wanted to almost embrace it as something as like a normalcy. So now, like when I actually went into comedy, like really, really went into it, I felt like I was at a point where I'm going to be in a room where I'm not going to be the funniest guy, but I will have the most confidence on stage. And so I feel like I've done a decent job of at least emulating that, where it's like I will never feel nervous on stage. I will always feel at home. So it's every comedian has its journey, you know. So it is very interesting to see how people kind of take in, you know, like the overall experience. But it's such a there's no blueprint to this game. Everyone finds their method. Everyone finds their strategy. And it's always constantly evolving. Like, I talked to like Paul Varghese, you know, my little brother homie. And he's been doing it for like well over 20 some years. And he's like, I still to this day always have that like new like push point or breakout point where I'm just kind of like, oh, wow, I get it now or whatever for whatever crowd. Cause your crowds are always different too, you know? Have you ever had that moment where like you prepared a set for a show and then the crowd ends up being maybe a little bit different than what you expected, and then you're like, oh, I need a shift.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Literally 2 weeks ago.
Talk about it, dude.
Okay, so I was on this brown show at this new hookah spot that opened up, I think maybe this year, the Cavalli one.
Yeah. Okay.
I was on a show with...
Was Rocky on that one?
Yes.
Rocky did? Yeah.
It was Rocky, me, Sib, Arun, and Nipa.
Okay.
So the Brown Justice League.
Yeah.
The goddamn DFW Brown Justice League out there.
Planet Brown. Earth. Fire.
Goddamn brown Power Rangers out there, man. And so my experience with like those hookah spots usually is that it's a older crowd, but sometimes you'll get like a younger group in there in the mix, right? So like I had kind of written out a lot of like brown material that maybe was better suited for like 20 to 30s.
Okay.
And I don't know why, I just thought it would hit, right? And so I get up there after like Arun has done his stuff, and
Arun is a beast.
Arun's a machine.
Yeah.
And you know, he's done his stuff. The crowd is like this Desi crowd that's like, you know, like it smiles, but laughter is like you gotta force it out of them, man.
It's like your parents, like brown crowds are like your parents trying to tell you they're proud of you. You know what I mean? Like where they will think it's funny, but it's like at best it's a soft chuckle and a nod of approval. Like,
And
it's what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
I see it all the time, dude. Because I do my own like shows now, like a monthly show where I bring in like a Muslim audience in, and I'll see it all the time with like some of the older folks. It's like they want to watch it, they're like kind of supporting it, but they don't support it in the way that traditional comedy you would expect, like laughs, cheers, being into the show. They're more of like they're watching it on TV. That's how it feels like.
Yeah. Or if they find it funny, they're like covering their mouth. And, you know what I mean? They're like trying to hide that laughter.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God, a testament of how miserable our own people are. Fuck.
I just think we need to teach them sometimes.
Yeah, kind of like
normalize.
normalize expressing joy.
That's the main point. That's the talk. Like the takeaway from this is that they're through for whatever experience they went through in life. I guess expressing joy has never been a natural thing to them.
Well, I think a part of it too, it just based on the judgment of our community, right? And it's like you laugh to that joke that guy doesn't think is funny. So what is he going to think of you if you laugh to that joke?
Oh my God! It's the
You know what I mean?
what will they think? Like magnified onto a comedy show.
What will they think?
What will they think, Bubba?
Man, I remember, it's just like, I feel like, and you were born and raised in America, right? And it's like your first generation.
Yeah.
You're like, your parents, you're growing up, and it's kind of like you are just trying to operate in the world and environment that you're around, right?
Right.
And then your parents are just like so worried about the judgment,
Yeah.
And it's like, what will they think,
Oh my
Sean?
God.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yes, dude.
What they think. That's the difference. I don't give a fuck.
And props to a lot of us who have dealt with that, like in our parents growing up, because I feel like we've really become like, I don't give a fuck what some random uncle that I'm never
Has
gonna
nothing
see.
to do with my life.
Fuck, like
Has no involvement. You know what I mean?
it's so dumb too. It's like people are gonna think what they think regardless, right? You could do everything traditionally that you think is right, and you can lie to yourself about who you are and present yourself in a different way. People are still gonna talk shit, right? Like it's. I feel like some of these things are just unavoidable in life. If someone is judgmental, they will judge you.
Yeah.
No
regardless. No matter what.
regardless.
It's never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who are they to have any precedence on any move you do in your life?
You'd be
You know what I mean?
surprised, man.
How did your parents feel when you told them that you were doing stand up?
I'll let you know when I tell them.
Holy shit. Is that for real?
They have no clue, dude.
That's fucking
No clue.
hilarious.
No
That's
clue, dude.
crazy. Why?
I guess I don't know. Okay, so here's what I tell people.
Do you have a decent relationship with them?
Oh, we have a good relationship.
Okay, that's good. What the fuck?
I guess the first hurdle is I have to explain what stand-up comedy is to them.
Oh, so you think that it's just their lack of understanding?
They don't watch like traditional like American TV.
Yeah.
They're a little bit older. Did your parents know what stand-up comedy was?
Yeah, my parents definitely knew a stand-up comedy, but I feel like Indian comedy, it's like, like for them it's like mimicry. You know what I mean? Like imitation. It's character bits,
Impressions.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like character bits,
Okay.
and so like it's essentially like they're more accustomed to like sketch comedy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But like the community still obviously enjoys comedy, but stand-up is, I think, still a very fresh concept
Still, yeah.
in India, right?
Yeah.
So I understand it, but like it's just so 15 months in, you know what I mean?
I've never talked about it. Because I also feel like to them they might be a little bit confused too. Because like
what is it bait?
Yeah, that's the first question. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're doing this? Is this like a new job? Did you quit your job? They're gonna start freaking out. Like, did you quit your? No, like I'm doing my day job. I'm just doing this on the side. It's like something I want to develop and get better at. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly it's not a thing against them. I just really don't know how to explain it to them.
Yeah. Okay. If I can give you perspective,
Sure.
right? I think that it's just a matter of, because I mean, I don't know how you grew up.
Yeah.
Did you have any like hobbies or activities like that you were passionate about that they knew of?
Growing up, honestly, no, man. Like I feel like no.
There it is.
Yeah.
I think the point is that, hey, I found something I'm passionate about. It has nothing to do with the dollar amount. It's something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
And it starts right there, right? Because it's like any other art form. If you were to start painting or drawing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're not like, there's no explanation. Be like, I'm not doing this for the payday.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I love to do it. It's one of those things that like I'm willing to invest my time, to breed this for my heart and my soul.
guess.
So I think that's if I were to put a perspective on it, I think that is essentially the approach you would give it to them. Is that, hey, I found something I'm passionate about. I want to let you know I've been doing this for over a year, and something I'm proud to tell you is I'm actually good at it.
Dude, the emotion in your face when you were saying that was beautiful. Like, that shit was. That shit,
sorry, wrong
It was
button.
on this camera, right?
There we go.
Make sure you get that. Make sure you get that footage. Goddamn brown cereal drama right there, man. Yeah, like I can see the tears in his eye forming. He's like. No, the plan is because I haven't even told him yet. The plan is hopefully maybe like a year or two when I maybe headline.
Still that long, dude?
Hey, I got a plan, dude. I got a plan. I think like maybe if I'm fortunate enough to be like a headliner somewhere or something, and it matches up, maybe I'd bring them out so they can watch like an extended.
Isn't your material though kind of? It's a little dirt. You know what I mean? Like I had like because I mean. You might not say as many fucks as you did in your first set, right? But it still comes with a fair amount of fucks, And so,
yeah.
like, are they used to you speaking that freely and openly?
That's the thing too. Like,
Because I told my parents, like,
Yeah.
and they obviously I've been a showman. They know about me being a showman.
Yeah.
Even when I came into my career, they didn't fucking believe. They're like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Because there's no reference to
Yeah.
the model of being like, oh, this is how you become successful, right? That's how Indian people are. They go to what is familiar to what the model. That's why they're always pushing their kids to
Right.
strive for these very safe paths and
Yeah.
jobs. But there's no model to this. So like when I went into entertainment full time, they're like, this, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything that they could fathom. They're like, and they still worry about me. They still worry about me to this day. But there was a sense of once they, I'm doing these Indian weddings, and especially within the community that they are familiar with, and they are coming back to them and being like, oh my God, we saw Shawn at, X or Y event. It was incredible, blah, blah, blah. They got that validation. And then they started to understand. They started seeing the growth and seeing the climb. They see me traveling to perform in these places. And they're like, I can't believe these people are paying you and paying for everything for you to just be there and talk. This is, you know what I mean? And so, like, to this argument, they can see any other show.
Yeah.
I do not want them to watch me do stand-up. Because it's like, because my parents, like, I want, my parents got so mad when I put out a song as like a special like gift to my fiance.
Yeah.
And I put out a parody song to First Cut is the Deepest by Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
But the hook was, no pussy is worth it.
Oh, you got a phone call.
I just want you. And she's like, my dad's like, why do you have to say that language,
Bad language.
Yeah. And so like, and so for me, it's kind of like, yo, like, you're going to hear me talk some shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel happy about it. This is not going to be your scene. You know what I mean? So
That's the problem though, right? If I bring it up to them that I'm doing this, the curiosity in them will just be like, okay, what can we come watch, right?
Okay. Well, then I
So
think
then I have to plan for that.
the real transparency is key at that point.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's left is just being like, listen, like there's a lot that I convey in my sets that internally and personally to me, I feel and think and kind of navigate my perspective towards. And it might not necessarily be your viewpoint. Could you handle hearing me speak on language and subject matter that might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they say yes, all right, come see it. But I think in the end, beyond what you say, I think it will be a little bit of a, like, they'll be like, wow, like I think it'll be kind of a wow point for them to be able to see you just naturally perform so freely and confidently.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that for them would be at least a little bit of a, I don't know your parents, but I'm just saying that, like, I think for any parent, it'd be something very endearing to see their child doing something that is, granted, something probably the most biggest fearful, position somebody can put in themselves into, you know? So, I mean, operate on your own time and schedule.
Well, I'll let you know when I figure it out, dude. Right
I definitely want to hear what they have to say. I definitely want to hear what they have to say.
I feel
about
like this
it.
is gonna be like a thing that like I'm not gonna tell them until I feel like I'm ready for it. Like if I'm doing like a longer spot somewhere or like I said, like a headlining gig somewhere, then I'll be like, yeah, listen. So this is the deal. I'm doing this show. Come out, just hang out, and you'll get it. Like,
well, I will.
hopefully.
Okay, so I will say this, right? Like that. When I did Metro Icon, which is a singing competition in 2021, so it was like literally the following months after I moved here in November of 2020. So like it was like towards August, or sorry, working at July. I mean, I wasn't even a year living in DFW when I started this venture. I financed the whole thing, produced the whole thing, even hosted the whole thing. And it was just like this whole journey that it was the most difficult thing I ever done. But fast forward that I got to the finale that so many people doubted that I was even going to be able to get there. And my family showed up, a lot of my extended family, my uncles, my aunts and all that. And the show was very raw. The judges spoke to, gave their judgment and critiques very raw, like, speaking freely with fucks and all that, But it was a very, very genuine thing. And then I was producing comedy and saying shit that, like, language-wise was not something that would be appeasable. But they just naturally saw the reaction of how people received it. And they were like, all right.
It's hard to argue with when you're, like, in a room full of people laughing at, your loved one doing what they're doing, right? Like, you see the success, even though you might, like you might not get it yourself, but you're like, oh, everyone else is getting it, so they must be doing something right up there.
Yeah, he is for the people.
I don't understand.
It's not for me, but he is for the people.
But a very good crowd reaction. I didn't understand.
They like it.
They loved it.
They loved
The
it.
white man loved the jokes.
Yeah, that is always good. But well, I mean, so okay. Regardless, there's still a lot of evolvement that is going to be coming within your comedy career.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see it, and we'll see what happens. Until then, hopefully they don't get invited to the full black audience.
Hey! Shawn said it, not me. I don't know what he's talking about. He keeps talking about these black people shows. What black people shows is he talking about, bro?
That's like the second thing that you have to break news to them.
I'm tagging the Arlington Improv right now, man.
They're like, I've been doing stand-up comedy. That's okay. I've been performing with black people. No.
All right, let me say this before we get canceled. I absolutely love
We love
performing.
black people. I'm talking about the perspective of our nervous ass parents.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't laugh at all.
They don't get
They
it.
don't
You
get
know what I
it,
mean?
man.
They ain't on for them graves. You know what I mean? But either way, I always just think that, like, for individuals in our position with the parents that we have as first generations and stuff, it's always just like a unique journey to see how their parents accept it. But I mean, you also have parents that are not, pushing you to do anything that you are not ready for. So maybe, you're not pushing yourself to do something that you think that they're not ready for.
See, I got lost somewhere in that sentence. He was like, "You pushing them to the," but I got lost. But
Shall I repeat?
yes,
Repeat. So you, like, they're not pushing you to do something you're not ready for. Like, in the perspective of they haven't talked to you and your wife about having kids, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So they are not pushing you to do something that maybe you're not ready for. They haven't brought it up. They're not even presenting it in front of your face.
Yeah.
So there might be an underlying issue within yourself that you're not pushing yourself to do something that you think that they are not ready for.
Okay, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
I do think for me, like, I love my parents, but I've always been a little bit more independent thinking, like, in terms of, like, getting their approval on things. So, like, for me, which is weird because usually you get the opposite problem, I feel like, with a lot of brown people, right? For me, like, I don't really need approval from anyone to do things. Like, I I'll just throw myself into stuff.
Yeah, that's real.
Which is nice. Like my wife's approval is the most important to me.
That's all.
Cause she's real with me. Like if she doesn't like a joke, she's like, that joke sucks, right?
That's
and if I get a laugh out of her, I'm like, oh, there's something there, dude. Cause she's been to so many comedy shows in DFW now.
Oh wow.
And like she's got a good mind for like evaluating
she's a good
comedians.
audience. Yeah.
Like like she'll instantly get it if someone's really funny. Like I had her watch Trey Mack the other day.
Beast.
Monster.
Yeah, such a fucking that motherfucker will get a special.
Shout out to Trey Mack.
Trey Mack.
He already has one. He has one on Amazon.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's funny as fuck.
I did not. Trey Mack on Amazon. Watch that because if you're not following Trey Mack, I think it's Trey Mack Live. Make sure you guys follow him because he's a beast. I did reach out to him to come on the podcast, and I feel like he's like, let me see what the show's all about.
The thing with him is he's so busy, dude.
Yeah.
Like even for me, because like we're friends now. I think so. I think so. But we're friends, and like I would love to have him on my show that I run like every month as well, the Triple C comedy show. And he's always like,
haven't been on, but I'm not putting that out in the universe.
And we're still getting around. Listen, man, you know what I realized, dude? Like being a producer sucks.
Did I put Teddy C on one of my shows? I think I did.
Being a producer sucks.
It's not an easy job.
It's not easy because like.
And do you host your shows when you produce?
Yeah. So like you'll have like 20 comedians reach out the first time you're doing a show, and you're like, all right, I got you on the next one. Like when I can squeeze you in. Thing that happens is five shows later, you're still going down that list of people that hit you up. So like you haven't reached out to new people yet, you know? So like, Shawn, I would love to have you. We're getting there. We're getting to it. But no, like I've reached out to Trey. I'm like, dude, I would love to have you like headline one of these shows or close out. He's always just like, yeah, I'm on a cruise that week. I'm like, this man is constantly booked.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Which is great.
And he's and I did a show with Trey Mack. I think it was Carrie Day. Carrie Day had this little show that he put on in his building near the neighborhood, and Trey Mack was on the show, and I think I did a bit where I sang something.
Yeah, and
Trey Mack is also a singer, so we kind of connected on that. And then he did a bit or 2 bits or something like that where he's saying, I'm like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? This man is church, you know what I mean?
Oh my god!
And but his delivery, his crowd work, it's just so damn impeccable. So as one producer to another, you might have to do like that show where you produce 6 months. 6 months in advance, you know what I mean?
To get his
it can't be like that less than 3 month like call out. You have to do it like probably like 6 months from now, and you're like, hey, I'm setting a show this date. I want to set it because I same thing like Paul, like Paul Varghese. I'm like, yo, I will produce a show catered around you as the headliner, and he's just like, and for him, it also like when you're in that position, you always get like these huge ass opportunities, like. Very last minute too.
Very last minute.
Where sometimes you have like reserve dates where you're just like, I'm not booking anything because I feel like these big moments just happen.
And they deserve that, right?
Yeah,
like some
100%.
of these guys have been doing it so long, and they're so good in what they do. That it makes sense that they would rather reserve a day for something that could be a huge life-changing opportunity. But to my original point of like my wife, like I was on the show with Trey Mack, Corey Cherry, and Jordan J.
Look at all these black comedians, and then this guy. Like, see, I'm just saying.
Hey,
I've been paying attention.
That was cool as hell, man. That was cool.
That's a fire lineup too.
That was cool as hell.
So that's dope, man, to be considered in that lineup.
Yeah, we did it at Hyena's Red Room.
Nice.
And it was called The Closers. And so, dude, the coolest part about this was
who put you on that one?
So it was Corey and Trey were doing like a show together. They like it was a live taping they wanted to do. And then Jordan was already the host, and I think I reached out to Corey and I was like, because we're also like pretty good friends, I think. And I'm like, hey man, what do you think about like maybe a guest spot? I would love to like be a part of this lineup because like Trey, Corey, I've been watching them for a while. Yeah, I've worked a couple shows with Corey, and like. I don't know. I just feel like these are some of the best comedians in DFW.
In DFW, 100%.
Those Corey and Trey are like 2 of the guys. That,
I mean, Jordan J.
I haven't even brought up Jordan yet.
Jordan J is like, I mean, dude, he's just a phenomenon just to look at.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Like Blake Griffin. Like he looks
funny
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, he's a funny Blake Griffin, you
Yeah.
know? Are you, let me ask you this. Are you a fan of Kill Tony?
I am now. I started watching it recently. I like it a lot, man.
I'm doing my 12th attempt tomorrow.
Nice. I went down in the last weekend of July for a convention, and I did my first attempt ever.
Okay.
At Kill Tony. I didn't get picked, unfortunately.
Obviously.
Obviously, I wasn't there. But it's cool, man. It's just I would be there more often if it wasn't for that 3-4 hour drive each way. That's just a killer.
So I work it out with the wifey that, I get one Monday a month that I can push and go to Austin.
I like that.
But my only side hustle is driving like Lyft or doing rideshare. So what I do is I filter rides heading towards Austin.
That's kind of genius, dude.
And so I try to make the trip work as far as a hustle for me to be able to get out there.
That's so smart, dude.
And so and then there's another app called Hitch, which doesn't pay as well, but you can get like long distance trips, and sometimes like you'll see one that comes from DFW that has to go to Austin. And so, I try to figure out and navigate a way where like as I'm heading out there, I'm making the hustle work for me.
You can justify it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then depending on whatever time I get there, I like just set a filter where I'm just around the Austin area picking up rides until about like 5:15, 5:20 or so, and then park and then go sign up a mothership and then head over to Poor Choices and then
That's the most Indian thing I've ever heard of my life. Sean just says, I'll be a taxi driver for one of these days when I go to Austin.
taxis are dead. So let me first say that. Taxis are dead.
Oh my God, that's so funny because it's like... How did you... The fact that you even came up with this idea is the most Indian shit ever. He's like...
No, it's not the most
Yes,
Indian
it
shit.
is.
No, it isn't, man. It's the hustler mentality, bro. Be a hustler. You know
That's
what
not
I mean?
the right sound effect. When you talk about...
That's what it is. That's what it is. But again, I'm able to justify it where like I'm, with the investment of having to go out there.
I totally get it, dude.
I'm not losing money on top of my time.
Because I think for me, like the money part isn't too bad because it's just like gas money. It's like gas money, right? Because you're not really like spending too much once you get to Austin.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just a time investment because like round trip is like 7 hours ish.
Yeah. I mean, for me though, I drive.
Yeah.
I have a fucking hybrid.
Yeah.
And
You're ready to go.
Like, I mean, I put so many miles in my car, but I have an amazingly working car, that
Soon to be a Tesla though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't know if I can go electric, dude.
Yeah, you need the right lifestyle for it, dude.
Yeah, because I mean, like I feel like electric cars are built for like a local commute.
A commute that is very reliable, dependable.
Very, very reliable local, and you know what I mean. But because our country is not built to do long distance electric drives.
No, it's
you know
terrible.
what I mean. And so I mean that's why I love the hybrid because you're able to just fill up with gas, but then at least it's not. It takes have less fill ups.
Yeah.
Less
you
oil
don't have,
changes.
You don't have to tell me, dude. I have an EcoBoost Mustang.
EcoBoost.
it's
still a Mustang.
It's still a Mustang, but it gets like 30 miles per gallon.
You actually, I think I saw a clip recently where you gave a dude shit where you're like you could tell everybody. You said something. You said
the car thing,
You could tell everybody. A
lot about
a person about the car they drive, and some guy's like, I drive a Mustang. He's like gay. And you said gay. You're like, but low key, I drive a Mustang too.
It wasn't low key. I was like, and I know this because I am. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good
I'm
bit.
reserving gay just for Mustang.
That's fucking great.
Just so I can let them know I'm one of them.
That's really good.
Dude, I'm really building that bit. So like I started making a list of all the car companies that I can, and stereotypes I can think of right off the bat. Like my favorite one right now is Jeep. Because anytime I think of Jeep, you always think of like commercials like the great outdoors. So my stereotype is homeless.
Oh,
that's a homeless person.
That's not too bad.
That's a homeless person.
That's not too bad.
They're always constantly parading you.
What about Rivian, the new one?
Dude, I haven't seen anyone say Rivian yet, so I don't know what they look like. Is that a fair answer, right? Like,
Amazon. That's
like
like,
nobody's ever. I
Yeah.
don't know a single person that has that yet.
yeah. I met one person that like I just got a Rivian. I'm like, oh, they're like
Douchebag.
They found it.
Yeah, like new car companies, I don't have a stereotype for because
Yeah.
the history's not there.
Yeah,
you know?
okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Toyota.
Toyota. Oh, fucking brown.
There we go.
But not just brown. It's like a older. It's like a boomer brown because that's their like they think the Toyotas. Were
I
like-
am so Toyota centric.
I know you are.
I love Toyota, dude.
And you got that trauma from your elders.
No, actually, to be honest, so my first two cars
Yeah.
were Honda Civics.
Yeah.
I had one Honda Civic, and it was like this '97 EX, and it was like riced out. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, heat. Like first 3 Fast and Furious movies came out.
Yep.
People are about this shit, you know. So I had that car. Worst luck, you know what I mean? Like,
Which is crazy because they're so reliable.
yeah,
too.
yeah. And then I had like the kind of a hand-me-down Civic from the family, and I still had such bad luck
Yeah.
with that car. Then I got a Toyota Camry, which was my sister's old Camry when she moved, and that fucking the most dependable car.
That thing is probably still working, right?
No, definitely not. I
Dang.
totaled the car.
Okay,
because
that's what on him.
It was a weather-related accident. No other vehicles were involved.
That Camry would have been here today if it wasn't for Sean's erratic driving.
No. Chicago thunderstorm.
The fucking Sean was trying to Uber in the storm.
Nah, man. No, it was at one of those things where like I ended up hydroplaning. Like it was like,
Oh, shit.
I went like under a bridge.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And there was like a pool of water you couldn't see from the road.
Oh, dude.
And I
that's
think
scary.
they were also repaving the road, so they had stripped it. So there was like zero traction.
My God.
So I hit this thing, and my car like does like 500, whatever the fuck the number is.
500.
It did 360 and then did one more half turn,
Plus
and then
180.
it was the trunk. That it was like it hit the front,
Yeah.
still turned, and then the trunk slammed like to like a median, and it's because
Dude, you got lucky.
yeah,
Because it could have went bad if it
Yeah.
had not been the trunk.
yeah, and so the trunk, that's the biggest damage. Like when you have to fix a trunk of a car, that body work is like the most
Well,
expensive.
forget the body work. We're talking about you being alive.
I'm alive.
Because that had hit
That's
a
nothing
different
compared.
area.
I've almost died on another. If you I won't tell the story because I've said it so many times, but just go on YouTube and look up Shawn Kay Pinata robbery.
Oh my fucking! That's too many words that are so interesting that I'm gonna have to do it.
That's why I actually was gifted by the Comedy Virgins.
Yeah.
This pinata here, which actually has items inside that they said they were like, don't open in front of your family. I haven't
Oh
opened
my
it yet.
god! Wait, what was the keyword you said? Pinata.
Shawn Kay
Shawn Kay pinata.
robbery.
Pinata robbery. Okay, let me try to guess from those words that you told me
Okay.
what the story is, and you tell me if I'm close or not. Okay.
You're not going to be a go.
All right. So I think, knowing you picked up some fucking weirdo to Uber to Austin.
I only
right?
drive Lyft, but go on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lyft.
I'm a very ethical person. That's why I only drive Lyft.
All right, so you were lifting someone to Austin, and
This was in Chicago.
Oh fuck! All right, I gotta redo the story now. In Chicago, right?
But you did have the ride share. It has to do with
right.
ride share.
It has to do with ride share.
Yeah.
All right. So you're ride sharing someone in Chicago, right? And they come in, bad vibes already, right? Bad vibes already because they're not like, you're just saying hi, hello. They're not talking to you, right? But they have a pinata with them, and you're like, hey man, what's the deal with this pinata? Is it someone's birthday? No response, right? Start driving. Out of nowhere, you feel a gun on your neck, and you're like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? You look around, you see the pinata's been broken open. Pinata's been broken open. They smuggled a gun into the pinata so the cameras would not get anything, and now they have you held hostage. Am I right?
Let me tell you something. This guy's improv, not too bad. But
Oh, man. Come on.
yeah, it had nothing to do with the passenger. I was picking up a passenger, but it had nothing to do with it. Was an outside situation that
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was close. I'll look it up later.
yeah. Look it up later.
Yeah.
And you'll notice it because I'm dressed as the pinata.
You were the pinata.
I was the pinata.
How can one be dressed as a pinata?
I have the outfit in the closet.
This was a Halloween costume or something?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll look up this story. This is
Halloween
intrigued.
weekend of 2020 in Chicago.
Intrigued, man.
3 weeks
Intrigued.
before I moved from Chicago to Texas.
You really picked something that is known for getting its ass beat as your costume.
No. Well, here's the thing. So I have a bit with the outfit, right?
Okay.
Because I bought a plastic bat, but I engineered it like a good Indian should, you know? I engineered it, though, that it holds a bunch of Hershey's Kisses inside the bat.
Oh.
So the bit is that everyone's intention is that they see you as a piñata. They're like, let me beat you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know? But if you show love to the piñata, then you get a kiss.
Oh, okay.
It takes away the stigma.
Yeah, I would still try to hit you with that.
You can fucking try.
I don't need that. I don't need that melted
Fucking
kiss.
try. You know what? Just like a Muslim to want to beat up the Indian guy, you know?
I see a piñata, I strike, man. That's muscle memory.
There it
I don't even
is.
think about it.
Muscle memory. It's in the history.
Honestly,
the history's in the
I feel like
muscle
you kind of
memory.
deserve to get robbed on that. You dressed up as a victim.
There it is.
Dressed up as a victim, dude.
There's the comedy bit. Wait, hold up. There it is.
There we go.
So, I'm gonna do one thing because we're actually an hour into the conversation.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. Let's take a short break.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a quick breather, but we're gonna come back to close out with this guy, Teddy C. Make sure you guys are taking advantage of whatever offers are in the description. But we're gonna be right back to this very, very fun conversation. Don't go anywhere. This is Teddy C, y'all. And we are back from this break, talking to the one and only Teddy C. I have to ask because you mentioned that you were producing your shows, Triple C.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Triple C comedy. So the whole thought process behind it is there's 3 C's, right? First C is community. All the shows are free. It's a really cool thing because especially because we're targeting like a more like Muslim, Desi crowd, and some of those people just want to see what they pay for before they pay for it, right? Like we're capitalizing on that idea. So that's the first C. Second C, kind of hand in hand with that, it's clean shows. So straight up clean comedy.
Wow.
And that's cool because it lets us come into these like Muslim friendly establishments that have great audiences already built in, like coffee shops, like Seifani Coffee Shop. It was one of our most successful shows because they already have like this awesome community that comes out there for like their tea and their coffee every weekend and whatnot. So the clean comedy aspect really helps us because we're able to just go in there, not disrupt the customers. Like, because, you know, like sometimes comedy can get a little wild with what's said, and business owners don't necessarily like that. Like if they see their customers feeling uncomfortable. So you got the clean aspect, the community aspect. The third C, this is the best part of it. It's a charity show. So at the end of the show, we don't force it on anyone, but we say if you enjoyed the show, you want to see more of it, you know, if you can consider donating to us, what we do is 50% of it goes to a charity, and the rest will go towards the next show. So we pay all our comedians. It's not a free show.
Okay.
We pay our comedians that 50%, and then 50% we just donate to a cause. So it's awesome because you get to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you get to see all these things kind of come together in this like unique show.
Yeah.
And the coolest part is like I've had so many people that like I don't go to comedy shows, like audience members. I don't go to comedy shows, but I really loved this one because it was for me. Right? Like it was a clean show. I wasn't hearing any like weird sex jokes the whole night. I was just able to sip on my coffee, relax, hear some really talented, funny comedians do clean comedy. And clean comedy is so hard, man.
It's very hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
The way I see it is like, if you have a good 10-minute clean comedy set that kills,
It's money.
wow.
Yeah.
Can you take that everywhere?
Yeah.
And can you really cash in on that?
Yeah.
Like the sex jokes, the racist jokes, like those are like easy laughs, I think, right?
Like low-hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit laughs, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
right?
there's and as well, people always bring their sense of perspective to a lot of that subject matter. So it's the funny is where you feel where it is.
And there's so many.
But
like,
clean is the best way. I mean, like Trey Mack, I know he can do clean comedy. That's why he gets a lot of these cruise ships jobs and stuff, because those are the organizations that really pay to have a clean comedian come and do comedy. So
Exactly, because and the cool part about it is like people sometimes associate clean with not like that funny, right? But it's not true. Like good clean comedy will have you laughing your ass off, dude.
Rocky Deer's testament to
Rocky's
that.
so good at it. Linda at Backdoor, like the thing she's built up there, like a lot of what Triple C is like I'm kind of like borrowing a lot of her sentiments about how she does comedy, right? Like she does Backdoor Comedy Club, which is a straight up comedy club with clean only rules.
Yeah.
I take those rules and I bring those to the show, right? Like, and I'll kind of loosen up just a tad bit, like okay, you can maybe drop like the word shit like a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe like I'll kind of feel out the audience there, but the whole thing about it is like I'm creating like a clean comedy show, which I feel like we don't have that much clean comedy outside of like Backdoor.
Yeah.
Like I know Reggie French is running one at DCC, but this is like an exclusive clean comedy pop-up show. So they've been going really well. We're like 6 or 7 shows in now. We've had some really strong ones where like the whole room is packed. The whole shop is like, there's not a seat left in the house.
That's awesome.
And I'm picking people who I always feel like can do well with my crowd.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just throw like an oddball in there and they'll surprise me so much, man.
Yeah.
Jason McAdams, who is doing a ton of stuff out in Rose City.
Okay.
Like I made a post. I was looking for like a comic, like more comedians to do the clean comedy shows. He reached out to me and I wasn't familiar with the stuff, but I had heard good things. And I kind of watched like a clip that he sent me of him doing clean comedy. I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Let me see how he does. Turns out he was a complete wild card on my show. Jason, shout out to you for coming and doing the Say Fine show. Turned out to be like the best set of the night, honestly. Best set of the night. I had multiple people come out to me and be like, "Oh, I loved his set. Like it was really good. It was creative. It was funny." I was like, "Oh, dang, man! Like sometimes you just don't know who's gonna kill it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's beautiful. When's your next show coming?
We don't have it confirmed yet, but I think it's gonna be September 19th.
Okay.
Again, still in the works. I haven't like talked to the venue yet. And my guy who does it with me, Ben, he's like my co-founder. He's kind of been busy a little bit.
Okay.
So we're kind of figuring it out. But yeah, hopefully it works out September 19th.
I was supposed to do a show on September 19th.
What happened?
George Red Speaks. Because it was going to be a sunset boat party and a comedy show.
Oh, I think I saw the flyer for that.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. And so, but I think there was some sort of with the discrepancy deal with, I think the captain needed, like, there was a initial deal where it was going to be post the show, because usually George has done it twice and always sold out the show.
Yeah.
But they've always worked it out where like they would settle up after, and then this time he's like, no, actually this time I need the money up front. And so George is in New York right now.
Yeah,
and so
I saw that.
He was going to come back. And that's his birthday time, so he was going to come back to do that show with me, and we were going to put it on together. I was going to DJ beforehand, but he's like, man, we have to reshift it, and so we're going to be pushing probably for like early next spring, and we'll do it then. So, but I want to get back into producing the shows and stuff too. I think the last show that I had was when I was doing Bali Smoke.
Yeah, I remember that.
And fuck you, Stadium. You know.
Wait, hold on. I have a story. Quick story. This guy Shawn is a madman because you remember that show where you put up that lady that has never done comedy ever before?
Oh my god! Yo, okay, yeah, dude.
Let me just intro it as saying Shawn has run a lot of good shows, right? And that night was a good show, but he started it in probably the most chaotic manner I've ever seen someone do it, which is, why don't you explain what you did?
Man, so and like, I mean, all right, she was a regular patron of that bar, and she had reached out to them, and they were like, hey, she's really, really, passionate and wants to try, and I was okay. I was almost to the point because I told her, I'm like, listen, like, I don't feel comfortable giving you a set, because I'm like, this is not how the game works.
Yeah.
I was like, also, I need to know that you're putting in work and really trying to master this material.
Yeah.
She just almost kept talking and just kind of like, I don't know, man. It was almost like a nuisance, to the point where I was just like, you know what? Let me see what the fuck you do then. You know what I mean? And I'm
I
like,
love that.
let's learn the hard way. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
that.
I was just like, yo, let's just learn the hard way then.
I love that,
and,
dude.
And also, it's kind of like when you give somebody that fresh opportunity at the start and jump of the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes that kind of opens up the barrier of the audience where they're just like, oh, it's someone's first time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And they want to give it a chance and give it some levity, right? Like, or just give it some grace in a sense, as far as like an opener for the show.
Right.
Fucking woman would not fucking stop talking. I gave her the light. I was like, oh, she don't know. I even told her when I give you a light, it's 1 minute.
Yeah.
I gave her the light, and she just thought I was like taking a picture. I don't know. And then I gave her another light, and I'm like,
The weirdest part was she came with some dude.
oh, that motherfucker.
And that guy started going up to the mic to start delivering some announcement or something.
Like his validation to her set. And I'm
know,
like,
dude.
what the shit is this?
It was so funny. Because you had, when she like bombed and we all like, she got off the stage, I was like, okay, that's.
Yeah, because
yeah.
she got laughs, but they were very much more sympathy laughs than actual like guttural,
Yeah.
like intentional laugh or more like, oh, that was funny. They were just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. And I remember you trying to get her off the stage and she just wasn't understanding the protocol.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, oh man, it's one of those. It's one of those like she thinks the whole show's about her now.
I tell you
Yeah.
this, never again.
Never again.
And she never even attempted to try
No.
comedy in any shape or form.
No.
And so, for me, I'm like, lesson learned. This is exactly why
Yeah.
the game works the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at this point, nobody's going to ever like try and talk me into like giving them even 5 minutes on any show that I'm producing.
I respect that you were trying to. I mean, I know she's more of a nuisance, and you
Yeah.
kind of just want to get her out of your head. But like, I respect that you gave her that chance at all.
Just
But, yeah.
that one time, because I'm like, she felt so confident.
Yeah, and
She felt so confident in
Isn't
herself,
that
and I
crazy?
I almost was just like, let's find out. You
And
know what I mean?
that's the
That's where it
crazy
was.
thing, bro.
I was
Like-
like, I'm willing to roll the dice on this one
Yeah.
because those Bali Smoke shows you saw that like those were free
Yeah.
shows, and I always say, make your show if you're, especially when you're starting to produce shows.
Yeah.
Make your shows free, and do it by donation.
Yeah.
That way, people are paying to what they feel they got out of the show, and there's no possibility of disappointment that like, oh, I paid even $10 for the show and this was a $5 show.
And
you
we're
know?
on the same page about this because I think I ran my first like production that I ran on Triple C. I did it ticketed and it did well. Like we sold it out. But I felt like I want like long term, I want this audience to be a repeating audience, right? I want people who came to my first show to come again.
Yeah.
And
Until like when there's a demand.
yeah.
You know what I mean? When the demand is high.
Yes.
Then at that point you're like, I got it.
And
you
the
know?
mistake I think people make is that they get that first initial strong showing, and then it's next month. Here we go again, right?
Yeah.
And like that network that you just brought out is like financially not always going to be able to support that, like your ticketing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like it's just not even like even if they want to financially support you, they just have other things going on, right?
Yeah.
So like it starts making this like this idea in my head is just like I could try to profit off of these shows, or I could make them more of an experience that's free. You have donations if people really want to support, and you're really just still delivering on them, like delivering this awesome show, but you don't have the stress of like, oh my God, I have 5 tickets sold. This is gonna be like 5 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
That does never feels good.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
It
it's
never
terrible
does.
feeling. Yeah.
It feels horrible, and I feel like it's one of the hardest parts about being a local comic too. Is like you don't have this network of a million people that follow you to be like
Yeah.
promoting a show to, right? Like you have like your family, friends, maybe friends of like people that are on the show, and then kind of just whoever's around and walks into your show. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, for me, like the best thing I ever did with my productions is kind of just making them a free show.
Yeah, and I think to that argument, to any comedian or producer that is putting a show on, whoever shows up,
Yeah.
still show up.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. I hear this all the time. Is like, there were only 5 people in the crowd, so we started just making the show like a parody of the show. You
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like they're like, oh, there's no one showed up, so we're not gonna try hard
they're
enough.
not taking it seriously
I'm
enough,
like-
and I'm like, dude, like, and then for me as a showman, I'm like, I feel that level of consistency is always something that is going to be a strong point for any performers. So no matter if there's 5 people, 50 people, 500 or 5,000, you perform the same.
You better make that those 5 people enjoy their night, man. Yeah.
Because like you never know, because that 5 people can tell one person that turns your show from 5 to 10, or you can have that one person. That one person can be like, no, this show is worth it, or this person is worth it, and they bring 10, 15, 20. I've seen it. And so it's kind of like when you're starting to quantify your level of what you're willing to give to the show based on whatever the result is in front of you on who's listening, it only takes one.
Very true, dude.
It only takes one. So perform consistently no matter
Very true.
how many people are working out.
And bring it, man. Like you have 5 people that
Bring it.
5 people that paid their money to see you. Deliver, right?
Yeah.
Even if though it's not your dream scenario of like a sold out room and like, okay, like that happens, but also the flip side of it happens too, right? Where we didn't have a great turnout, but still deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had something unprecedented come up during one of your shows?
Yes. Oh my God. Our third show. Our third show was at Sheesh. You familiar with Sheesh?
Yeah, Sheesh Lounge.
Sheesh Lounge.
I did that with Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were doing a pop-up show there. Oh my God. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. So first there was a miscommunication with the Sheesh people. They were like, oh yeah, we do music shows every week, and like they use our sound, like they use our speakers or something. So I took that as they had a sound system.
Yeah.
I get there on the show day of, they don't have a sound system, right? And like usually I tell my friend Ben to kind of set up the audio. He has like more audio equipment.
Yeah.
So like that was the first big red flag of the night. Second,
No, keep going.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
the second thing was this was during a horrible flood, like the day of.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we got hit with this. I don't know if you remember. This is like March. There was this giant flood day in March where it was like it was coming down so bad you could barely drive on the highway.
Oh yeah, I think I do remember that.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
fucking awful.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so that was the same night as our show with no fucking speaker sound system. And believe it or not, we had just come from the last month. We had a sold out 120 people show. So like
Coming off of that.
yeah. To this.
Humbles you real quick.
And we still had a solid turnout somehow.
Which is wild.
Yeah, because a lot of my friends pulled up, which
Oh,
I have
hell
some
yeah.
really great friends that
Fuck
like
yeah.
will come out. And she's had a couple people that like turned out, but it was like I want to say like a 30 people turnout in that room. And like
Which is actually pretty low for Sheesh when they do a comedy show.
Right.
I mean, I've done 2 shows and I think consistently it was like over 75, 80 people.
oh yeah, no, it was just a bad
Yeah.
day. Like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that wanted to come
Yeah,
to the
right,
show
right,
saw
right.
the weather and were like, I'm not driving in this, right? Which is tough, but and then me and Ben, like we ran to fucking Walmart to get a speaker system, and then because we didn't have no fucking mic or nothing, and then we made it work somehow. Like the Sheesh owner pulled out some sound system and we kind of put it together. We made a show happen. It just was everything that went wrong, like that could
go wrong.
Fucking went wrong.
I got one for you. So I did. Actually, the first show I produced is an idea that I brought to George Red Speaks. That he did the first show without me. Well, I was supposed to be on the show, but then I got booked for a wedding in Chicago, so I couldn't be there. But it was a red tape comedy show, which is like. Literally the comedy show came with a disclaimer. Complete opposite of your clean shows, where it's like anything that could be possibly said may be said, but it's not meant for the easily triggered or the offense, right? So like, don't be. So it was just meant for it to just be a wildly, projected show. Whichever case, I ended up producing one show in this Royal Lane Studios, and
This was last year, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw this flyer. That's
Yeah.
why you said red tape, and
Yeah.
I instantly went to the flyer. In my
Yeah,
head.
and it dope ass space.
Yeah.
dope ass space. And the manager owner of the space ended up double booking me with another promoter who was okay. Before I even say this factoid, from the amount of times that I had gone there, because they have like all these little studio rooms. We're in like this main white floor space where it's like white wall all the way around. It's like meant to like shoot a fucking music video, right? And they have these different side rooms. We were doing also a live podcast show on one room and whatever. That room wasn't available, but every little side room they had that had a different theme or whatever, all of a sudden had beds and mattresses in each one.
What?
And that night, only finding out through the flow of the show that the other promoter he sold to was promoting a swinger party.
Oh my God. What?
You know who was on that show was Drew Nickens.
Really?
Drew Nickens was on that show. Yeah, man. So I had about 25 or 30 tickets sold.
Yeah.
And it filled up the space pretty well.
Sure.
All of a sudden, we start seeing these very uniquely walking couples walking into the space looking hella fucking confused, wondering what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe we sit and watch the comedy show before.
I love how their initial reaction is like, we came here to fuck some other people, but let's just sit down and watch an hour of comedy.
Yeah, maybe this will kind of
get us horny.
Yeah, right. Like it's what do they fucking call it?
Aphrodisiac?
God damn it. There's a whole fucking word for it. Foreplay.
Oh, foreplay.
It's like the foreplay before the real play. You
That's
know.
so helpful.
And so it was, dude. And then all of us, right? We started recognizing what the fuck is going on, you know. So as a comedian, it's supposed to be in the red tape show.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you not call it out?
Right.
And then it's kind of like, you know, a lot of swingers are not, it's like a secret type of community.
It's supposed to be a little low key.
Yeah, it's very low key. You know what I mean? And so it's like you're only supposed to understand what that upside down pineapple is.
Yeah.
Don't ask any questions. So it's like we're start calling out and you just see these motherfuckers like, you know, but fun show.
That's hilarious, dude. Did any of the swingers say like, "Oh yeah, we love the comedy aspect of it"? Or
there was two couples that came up. They were like, "We did not know there was going to be a comedy show tonight, but it was pretty fun." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it."
Oh my god!
Because I didn't know you were coming.
Yeah. Well, they came all right.
Oh,
they came big time.
Actually, I don't even know if they did. Like, I think they were disappointed by the end. And then I also had a silent disco code. So then that way, then some people were, you know, hanging out doing the silent disco, and like they're just like, we can't fuck here, you know, like and so it was one of those things where like people felt, dude, and also it's right by Love Field Airport, and it's kind of looks a little bit sketchy of a parking lot when you come in. There were people that bought a ticket, showed up to the parking lot, and they were like, and fucking left. You know?
Well, it was probably like they parked in the parking lot, saw that there was a swinger convention, and were like, no fucking way, this is a cult.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, something.
This is a cult.
Yeah, so that was probably my most unique show that I've done. But if I ever get on Kill Tony, that's when I go.
Do you have your minute ready?
Yeah, I've been ready.
You got your minute ready?
It's funny because I've like readapted and re-evolved my minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Like,
would you be willing to say it right now?
100% no.
Okay. 100% no.
yeah, no, definitely not. I'm not throwing it away.
Oh,
because here's the thing is that this episode will probably come out even if I get called tomorrow. This episode will probably come out before that episode, and I do not want to throw it away yet.
Okay, tell me off camera.
I'll tell you.
All right, bet.
Otherwise, we're coming to around that hour and a half mark. We're coming right around just a little after 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Appreciate you coming through, dude.
Of course, man. This is fun.
This was fun.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And it's not a front. He enjoyed himself. And so...
not as much as the swinger party, but...
no. Trust me. They did not enjoy themselves either. You know? There's no swing in that part. Either way, I'm excited to see your growth. But I'm saying this genuinely, dude. I want one brown man to another. I think that there's opportunity for you and I to connect to figure out other realms of producing a show together.
Oh, I would love that, man.
That I think that you and I would have a lot of fun. There's a concept of a show that I wanted to do where it was it's almost like a sense of a roast battle, but not really. It's more bumping mics.
Bumping mics. Okay.
Are you familiar with what that is?
No.
So Jeff Ross and Dave Attell, they have a special on Netflix you can watch called Bumping Mics, where essentially they're coming up as a 2-man act. Some of it they might be giving each other shit, but a lot of it is just them riffing off of each other and going with the flow of the show.
Oh, like it's two comedians on stage together. Kind of,
and they're going
busting each other's balls.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
so
love that.
I feel like you and I, it would, and it's, especially as a comedian, you know that there's only a few other comedians that you know that you can kind of go back and forth and keep an even flow of content going, right? Yeah. So it'd be interesting where like to organize a show that like we have a string of comedians and then they're coming in as a dual set together. And figuring out it where it's essentially almost improv. Maybe individually the comedians can come with premises, and then they work out the discovery together. But ultimately, it is a lot of improv and maybe some crowd work. But it is comedian to comedian, not comedian versus comedian.
Oh, I love that, dude. I really like that because I've seen this concept a couple times with like other comedians doing it on the road and whatnot. And I think it's cool because like they'll do their set and then that person they'll both do their set and then they'll come together on stage and it's just like it's free flowing. It's like super laid back, chill, just making the audience laugh and like I feel like that's a cool concept, man. How would you pick pairs though?
I think you pick the comedian.
No, I mean like
no, you don't pick the pair. You pick the comedian and then you allow that comedian to bring his pair.
So that's what I'm saying, right? Like, so you wouldn't book two people, you would book one person.
You could book two people. Yeah. Like, so essentially we're like, you know what? I think that person and that person.
That's what I was asking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have that. Yeah. Also, though, I see it as that you can pick a strong comedian and be like, bring another half. Right. Bring someone else to share that stage with you that you think that you can perform strongly.
That you would play well off of. That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then that brings a level of comfort. Yeah. You know, that you're not, it's not based on the realm of what the producer feel, but what the comedian is comfortable with.
And that's fair, because I don't think you should do like two strangers, right? Like people that's not going to go well. It should be someone who like
could be a concept, but I for me personally, and I think that you agree, I would rather my comedian be comfortable. Yeah. If your comedian is comfortable, they're gonna fucking perform.
Oh, no doubt. I love that, man. Have you tried to run that show to like any of the clubs?
Dude, I have been terrible reaching out to even putting myself out there. I just talked to Atharva B. I did my round 2 with him and discovered I'm like, I've always been in this mode where like don't ask to get asked, and I've been in this mentality, and to my general game, that is how I operate and how I feel strongly, but I've adapted that to the comedy game, and I've realized, I need to shift that. I need to put myself out there. I need to shoot my shot more to say, when it comes to putting out my content, but also making myself like, hey, you know what? Like, you can look me up, you can fucking Google me, but if you put me on a show, I'm going to come up and show up, Right. So I've done a bad job doing that. Amongst other things when it comes to the comedy game.
But it's good you recognize it, though, because like I feel like I felt the same way with comedy. It was like, I want to be asked to be on shows. I don't want to ask to be put on shows. But I learned pretty quick, man, there's so many people asking, right?
Yeah,
that
there's people looking.
And
also to that, there's a lot of producers that are looking that don't ask.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, I'm going to get better at it. And I think, obviously, this is a constantly evolving game. But Teddy C, man, again, thank you so much for coming through.
Dude, I had a blast.
Dude,
man.
This is fun, man. Yeah. This is a fun way to spend a Sunday. And again, this I explained to you before we started, like, that I do this for me to kind of get to know the individual across,
Right.
But if I invite you to my humble abode, then, that is testament to how I feel as a person, So as we are winding down, and I am trying to suck the pee back into my body to make sure that I don't pee it. There it is. Okay.
Nice.
We end the show in the same way, in case you guys don't know. that I allow my guests to go ahead and leave off with a final statement and sentiment out into the world. They have their camera right over here. So, like one thing I like to put in the back of your mind is that if this could possibly be the last thing you ever say on video or audio, this is your message out to the world to end your episode. Teddy C, close us off.
All right, mom and dad, if you're watching this, sorry I didn't tell you about stand-up comedy. My bad. But I just want to say, dude, it has been an honor to be on Shawn's show. This was super fun. And if I could give the audience just a quick lesson in life, don't dress up as the piñata, all right? Don't be the piñata in your life. Take action. Take charge. Be better.
Yeah.